Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Football Temple. Now, this is the only show where football is a religion and every fan is a worshipper. But first of all, for bagan for Arsenal. You know, easy. Incoming champions, according to Arsenal fans. Anyway, my guy, this weekend, my mouth tell me. What happened at the Emirates Stadium?
I told you, Emeka, I told you that this Arsenal team, nobody can stop them.
Apparently, it was a classic display. Like Arsenal totally dominated Tottenham.
They just had them.
It was as if Tottenham, wow.
Come to think of it, Emeka, who can stop Arsenal? I know this is what Arsenal fans want to hear. Who can honestly stop Arsenal in the Premier League this season?
I mean, some people will tell you City.
Nah.
I would have said Liverpool, but it's like Liverpool spent a lot of money to go on relegation this year. Because don't worry, we'll come Liverpool. Get to Liverpool. For now, leave Liverpool first. Let's talk about the people who are title contenders. So, guys, Arsenal is 7 points ahead of City. For now, City is third. Chelsea is second, but these are second. Plenty people saying have you once.
So I really don't see Chelsea competing. They don't even have the legs to compete against Arsenal. The only team that would be able to push Arsenal to the next level of this season Premiership is Man City. But at the same time, they also have not really been spectacular.
You know, one thing about Man City is that City can go a period without, really picking from. And while it's very true that Arsenal has been quite dominant, it's still early days for the season. And when I say it's early days, I'm not talking about, smaller teams. For a team like City has this vibe where they go on a monstrous run of form and go like 10 games.
I quite disagree.
Straight wins.
I quite disagree with you. I've said it many times anywhere that if City can go 15 games unbeaten, Arsenal will go 20.
Oh my God.
Arsenal will go 30. Oh man, trust me. Once I say City team, it's not that team that is special. When you look at the time when they had the good one, this guy was always coming in, tearing the net. Bernardo Silva was scoring. They had people that were netting the goals for them. But this season, if Haaland doesn't score for City, who scores? That's like a very big. And when people say the season is too early, like they played 12 games, and we're already entering into the new year, and Arsenal is topping.
Yes. I mean, Arsenal's form is not to be. I don't think we're going to have to doubt Arsenal's form and the pure dominance that they've displayed this season. But City, for me, when I look at the table, I see Chelsea second. I see
those ones that are just permanent. They're not, I think, view ones.
Yeah, and it's funny because Chelsea fans at this point last season, they will never agree.
Last season, they were saying we're not competing for it.
Not title contest, not for wait for it. But this season, we've not heard anything about it because if I say that they really banished from title contenders. So everybody for Chelsea just fired. Anyway, so as Chelsea is second, Man City is third. But when we are talking about people going for title, a lot of people would still mention City.
Definitely.
So it was a very beautiful weekend for Arsenal. For me, that's pure dominant display by Chelsea. And this hat-trick.
Is scoring
4 goals. And you know why it's funny? Because the Spurs manager, he very initially said, "Who is Eze?"
Trust. I think that was even like a very wrong statement to have made.
Who is Eze? As how?
A derby match. A derby match for that matters. And you know the irony of it? I think this coming to Arsenal story is a very beautiful story. When you look at, this guy was once in Arsenal Academy, and Arsenal released him and came back to Arsenal. And even before he came back to Arsenal, Tottenham was going for him and having to score against Tottenham again. So painful for Tottenham fans.
It's like it's the stuff for movies. Like it's like a Hollywood script, and it's not just that he scored against Spurs. It's the entire build up to the match where the manager is saying, "Who is Eze?" And
you don't even say that a derby match. Like,
who is Eze?
Tensions are high. Emotions are high.
And I'm sure by the time he looks at the score sheet, he will see Eze 3 times. Eze raised the bar 3. That's by the way. So let's talk about Liverpool. I look top 10, I don't see Liverpool at shock.
I think when we're having this discussion, and this is one of the things that Liverpool fans don't always want to accept. I said something at the start of the season. I said Liverpool actually made lots of mistakes when they were signing players. Trust me.
I mean, they brought in
they had the money.
Ekitike, they brought in Isak, they brought in Foran Wheat. Like, you should be expecting that this lineup, including Salah that was already there, they're supposed to back goes up and down. Like, why is Liverpool struggling?
Okay, now let's analyze Liverpool. Let's analyze them. Okay. When you look at Mo Salah, fantastic player, great. He has done it all for Liverpool, and trust me, he has won it all too for Liverpool. And when you look at Mo Salah closely, you realize that. For me, I think he shouldn't be in the team anymore. He should leave because
he was their best player last year.
Yes, he was their best player, but you don't expect that same Salah to keep carrying Liverpool.
But you don't.
And trust me, what made Arne Slot win the league? I keep saying that the only reason why he won that league was because they had a spectacular run of games, and also Arsenal were battling injuries back to back. And when you look at it, the winning team that Klopp had set down was what he used to win. Now, he sold out some players and they didn't replace them. Van Dijk had them. Their defense has been, on and off. Who is the replacement there? I mean, what sold Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich? Who do you replace there? Okay, McAllister legs are not really that strong again. Who is the midfielder you bringing in? But they said, hold on, Emeka. They said we're going for Zubimendi. Okay, Zubimendi had to join us now. Okay, who was that like-for-like replacement that you're planning to bring in the midfield? Now, let's look at striker itself. Nunes is out, and you brought in Isak. But trust me, do you really need Isak? That's the question.
But Isak really did well for Newcastle last. So you can't blame anybody who won by him.
He did well, but you've gotten someone like Ekitike on that team. You've got someone who can play. Who can play from the wing and who can also start as.
It doesn't hurt to have like two very top strikers, and I think it's sad because that's one thing that should be counting for them, but apparently it's working against them. I don't know if it's from the manager or the players. They've not really understood the system yet. Or
it's not even about you don't talk. How many players did they even get outside the league? It's not about the system. Emeka, they're not playing anything.
Ekitike came in from Germany. Daniamite came from Germany.
And he's been having a good run of games. But the problem is, they didn't buy what they need. They only had to go for what was not necessary. Isak, fantastic player, but
you think they needed a really good midfielder?
Look at Arsenal, for example. Okay. Arsenal knew all the long that for a very long time, they don't have quality depth, and we need to get players for players in each department. Watch how they solve the problem. They brought in a good striker, Victor Gyökeres. Now, how do we solve this Saliba, Libre injury? Yes. They brought in Mascares and they brought in Incapi from Bayern Leverkusen. Now, they needed someone who could replace that midfield. They knew Partey was going to leave. They brought in Zubimendi and they also brought in Norgard. Now, when you look at the profile of the midfielders they have, you realize that they've been able to replace what they were actually lacking. Okay, we needed to allow Saka rest. Who do we bring in for Saka? Noni. Who do we bring? Eze. So if you look at that team, that was something that I was expecting Slot should have done. And you sold Diaz. Who do you bring in for Diaz? No one. McAllister is quite tired. Who do you bring in? Nobody. And you're using Zobo out of position. And Liverpool's fans are complaining. Now you sold Arnold. Who do you bring in for Arnold? One academy guy.
I was looking at but to be fair, a lot of them who later was through the ranks.
They have to sack that guy. He's a scam.
Manager who really last season is
scam. Is a scam. See,
trust me, give it
in a Premier League whereby we know. Okay, let's put it. Imagine if City was in their best form, Arsenal was in their best form. Would Liverpool win the league?
But you not being on your best form is also
that's what we are saying.
It's also as a result of somebody else being really good.
No, I will not agree. Look at Man City.
They were firing from us.
Look at the season that Man City came from the back to win the league against Arsenal versus Arsenal. Now look at the point that Mikel Arteta had to accumulate, but yet could not still win the league. But now this is now an Arsenal thing that they were struggling with injuries. So imagine if Arsenal had no injuries. That means Slot won't win the league. It's proof. Okay, come and defend the league. You cannot defend the league.
It be like the big copy first.
You cannot defend the league. For his paint, Slot, you're not in the sack.
Slots, they that student take copy for exam. Like, okay, you got an A, Mr. Mark, can you come and defend your project?
When you ask him during his press conference, he's always giving excuses, this and that. It was set piece. They need to sack that guy.
So you're
for less.
Because I'm seeing conversations on the internet and people are asking, Slot, should he go or stay?
It should
But
go.
this is my personal opinion, by the way. So you bring in a manager from the Dutch league from the Eredivisie to the Premier League. His first season, he gets you the Premier League. That is by no means a fluke. He absolutely delivered the Premier League on his first season of the job. Almost midway towards the next season, he's actually struggling. I personally do not think that Liverpool should let him go for certain reasons. Number one, he started off a high last season. If he had struggled like this last season, I'm thinking a lot of people would have cut him off like, oh, he's new. They would have like, he's new. And then, give him time to acclimatize to the Premier League. But he started off with a complete bang. And I think that's also one of the things that is counting against him. I believe very strongly that this Liverpool team will pick up.
I don't see them picking up.
They will get better.
Do you know I don't see them?
This might not be
do you know I don't see them picking up? Why? This is like, when you check the table from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you cannot find Liverpool there. Liverpool don't lose. It is against club standard. Plus the fact that you are a reigning champion is unacceptable.
I think this is one of the most shambolic,
very unacceptable
since Leicester City had their running.
Come to think of it, now there's still no chance that their next game they're going to win it. If there was hope now, Liverpool fans will say, oh, maybe our next game in the league. But there's still no that proof that, oh, they can win their next 3, 4, 5 games. That's where the problem is. And once the players start losing faith in what the manager has for them, trust me.
So almost all the games have been played this weekend in the Premier League from Saturday to now. We'll just have one game remaining. That we must start Manchester United, but we'll come to that.
I don't find winning that game. I don't see Manchester United winning that game.
Best for the last. We'll come to that. But so far for you, I want to ask you a question. Your player of the week, your flop of the week, and your team of the week so far.
So my star will player of him. So my player of the week, I'll give it to AZ. Okay. Team of the week. Team of the week, I have to give it to Arsenal. Flop of the week, I have to give it to this is really tough. But I have to give it to Erling Haaland. Yes, he's in my FPL, and a lot of people have Erling Haaland in their FPL. They were expecting him to bang in the goals, but I'll give him the flop of the week. Why? Because the expectation for Haaland to deliver in that game against Newcastle was very high. Even he lost.
But to be fair, it's Newcastle. Newcastle is not a small team in the real sense of it.
Same as when Pep Guardiola said the season just started. So I was expecting that after saying that comment, making that comment during his press conference, I was expecting they'll go up bizarre 4-0, 5-0.
Pep is one manager that when he tells you the season just started, you really have to believe Pep. He's not Amorim or Slot.
I'll say it. I agree that Pep is actually one of the fantastic managers in the.
A lot of people say he's the greatest.
I agree, but also I don't think Pep has it anymore in him. So when I mean he doesn't have it anymore in him, I feel like whatever Pep is doing this season is just let me I have to do this to say it. Class is permanent. This and that. He's just trying to maintain that part that I am Pep. The name is there. So whatever he tells you, he can tell you that the league is just starting and goes on to lose 5 games.
I beg to differ on that. Pep is him.
It's him, but what happened last season? It was not him, Abi.
Pep, maybe he was hacked. Because Pep is one manager I cannot completely write off.
In the maker, see, even if Pep, let's agree, it's good, I agree, but when Pep comes out to say, playing his mind games. I don't see that team to be spectacular enough to say, as this guy don't talk, now so it could be. There's not that spectacular, that figure in this current team.
So do you think
If you look at most of the team, let's look at most of them are average player. If you want to go, okay, let's break them down. Tijani guy, average.
is Doku average?
Doku for me is average. Doku for me is an average.
Was it Robert Pires that said
If you look at their players, Saka, I think he was drunk on something. Nah, better than Saka. Doku.
was it Saka? I think it's Saka. That Doku is more consistent. Yeah,
He was consistent.
it was Saka they compared Doku with, and I think
They would always compare Saka to almost all the players.
one of these average.
Or that it shows that Saka is the standard.
Well,
So I really don't think Pep having to come out every week to speak to does nothing to Arsenal.
I wouldn't write Pep off completely. If anybody is a big threat to Arsenal's title chances this season, it's Pep Guardiola and the Man City side, especially because we still have the January transfer window coming. We still have the January transfer window.
And funny enough, when people speak about January transfer window, I say it's just all about gambling. You could bring me them. Okay, see what happened last season. He brought in players. January. Where did this still end? So he didn't compete. For me, I just feel like the kind of players that Pep would have really wanted in his team. If you look at those kind of players, many of them are really beginning to go into living the kind of game. When you look at people like Kevin De Bruyne, how many players right now? How many players? How many kinds? Like for life.
So in other words, Pep don't finish with that.
I just really, for me, from how I'm following his trajectory, looking at how Mourinho also went with the run and all of those things, giving special one, the packaging and the rest. And
I will not agree to that. Yes.
yes, having him in the league, good. There will always be that competition, but he's not that kind of person that when he speaks and say, "Oh, well, nobody go fear, not even Arsenal."
Pep, they say
Nobody go even fear, not even Arsenal.
when I really fair Pep,
Not even Arsenal fans.
no one. So moving on from the games that were played over the weekend, we're now looking at the final game on the match week: Manchester United, Everton. How do you think that will go?
Well, that's also going to be a tough game for Manchester United, looking at the fact that they've had a couple of good runs, and then to their fans watching this, they believe that they are in great form. But trust me, Manchester United is not in a great form. So every now and then they try to pick up, they try to come, but I just feel like it's going to be a very tough game. Plus the fact that Everton too also want to get a 3 points. And I think it might end in draw or, Everton winning that game. I don't see Manchester United winning. Trust me.
So you're gonna
I don't see them winning.
Man U fans.
This is not to banter Manchester United fan, but I don't see them winning that game. I see Everton taking or winning. Manchester United.
And you still don't see them.
I don't see them.
Hey, I have United have fun.
I don't see them winning. I don't see them winning because I feel like for the team, for the Manchester United team, when you look at how they play, yeah, it still feels rusty. So there's not that spectacularness in how, let me use that word, how they've not blended. They've not blended. And when you look at that team, it seems like we are trying to we're trying to do what we can do. A lot of details are being processed in the game. Like I was reading something when Amori said something. Said this is not even the time to allow the players train alone. So from that statement, it shows that this is a team that are processing a lot of details. They are not team that you can allow them clear freely. Let's try to do one or two, but Everton will shock them. And plus Everton, every time when they meet Manchester United, they try to always be a very tough nut to crack. So they had good players on the team. Grealish is there. His experience would also matter. And Manchester United, for me, I don't think that we need it.
Anyway, Everton, Manchester United, they try to win in the Premier League. So to wrap this particular segment up, I'm going to ask you to call out 3 teams you think can win the Premier League this season in the order that you think that they can win it. And I'm also going to ask you where the Premier League Golden Boot is going this season before we move on to other games?
Three teams that will win that I believe that
Can
can.
Premier League this season?
I'll say Arsenal.
One,
Arsenal, Manchester City.
two.
Third one. If I give this third one step now we can just give and nobody say and no really rate there to even smell give to I'll give Chelsea.
Chelsea.
But
World champions. World champions. Okay, so for you, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea.
so for the boots, I'll give it to Netherlands. Nobody's coming close. Nobody.
So he still thinks he has what it takes. So he has what it takes. He's definitely going to bang goals, but at the same time, still a problem for City.
Okay. So moving on, the UEFA Champions League is this. And we have one big game. Arsenal Bayern. How do you predict that goal? Is it revenge vision for Arsenal because Bayern don't see Arsenal 8-7 and they wipe Arsenal? Is it time to get revenge?
I will talk the mind of every Arsenal fan who will be watching me right now. You see, Arsenal versus Bayern, trust me, this is not the Arsenal versus winger that they can be coming and be trashing 8-2, 4-2, 6-2. This is a different Mikatena army.
Bayern, you
Different Mikatena army. So for this game, in as much I want Arsenal to go on scoring spree, I think it's going to be a top game for Arsenal. Why? Because you have to manage your players right, and moreover because of the weekend you have Chelsea. So I'll prefer a draw for that game because
It's not. Let's see a draw. Personally, for me, I don't think there will be a draw. Bayern high flyers this season, top team, top of the Champions League table. Arsenal second, high flyers won all their games, but I do not see a draw in that game. Do you know how I think that game will go? I think Arsenal will win the game. I just believe very strongly. It's not genre form has been insane.
it's true. But if Arsenal is going to win that game, Arsenal have to sacrifice a lot. A lot players having to play and all of those things.
No, Bayern is a big game. You don't Bayern and
No, they're so funny enough they're even calling it to Emirates, and that's the thing. And I still feel like if I was Mikel Arteta, I'll try to manage that deal. I'll try not to force. I'll try not.
So who would you rest for that game? Chelsea, small Chelsea. I mean, no offense to being world champions or not, but Chelsea now small boys now.
I'm actually not going to rest any player, but I'll make sure that players like Saka don't get to play full match. Players like
American.
player like
We say in a game like Bayern, because Bayern know how to coach the ball when they want to. So if you're playing Bayern and you need a Bukayo Saka, because the thing about Saka is very effective. If you get the ball across to Saka, 8 out of 10 times he does something useful with it. Either he drives in, passes it in a forward moving manner. Saka hardly ever loses the ball. And so you need a Bukayo Saka all through for that.
for such game. I think Arsenal need a Victor Gyökeres in strike. Why? So that when you look at how clubs play when Arsenal don't have their top strikers, you realize they begin to mark Saka 2 ways, mark Trossard 2 ways. But when you have someone like Gyökeres, the centre backs are focus more on him, and it gives Saka and then Trossard or anyone that plays from the flanks more focus.
Okay, so for you, Bayern Arsenal is a draw. For me, that's a win. Baka Chelsea. Give us Baka. They don't give you a Baka.
You don't show.
They don't give you a Baka. Lamine Yamal. Baka Chelsea. How do you
Extab UT now. Extab UT.
Give us Baka. Please,
Bring Baka.
they don't bring Baka.
So I think it's going to be a very tough game for Baka. Looking at how Chelsea has like this, good record when it comes to playing teams like Baka in the Champions League, and I wouldn't want to say.
You know what I think?
What do you think?
Baka go theater.
I really don't think Baka will do that.
Baka go theater.
Let's look at this game. When they played PSG and Chelsea versus PSG,
What club go for?
nobody thought that Chelsea would come out on top. And that's the same feeling I'm having, because when it comes to games like this for Chelsea, knowing that they have
Trying to sit up.
so much history with Barcelona and all of, and
Yeah, Baka will.
and also Barcelona know that Chelsea is like a very tough knock to crack. I believe, irrespective of the crop of player right now.
I agree. Chelsea can be tough to crack when they play really solid teams, especially on European night. They seem to have really this very good and level of experience when it comes to playing in Europe at this very top stage. But I think very strongly that Barca also shared this kind of experience. But Barcelona is a big team in Europe, right? And they went all the way to the semifinals last season. It's a team that's still raring to go. And so for me, Barca Chelsea, I'll give it to Barcelona. If Chelsea come out of that game with anything good, it will be a draw. I don't see any surprise.
But it's also a very big problem for Chelsea. I think if Chelsea at the end of the day get to lose that day, going to the weekend with a defeat is not a good something that they might want to.
Okay, so the reason you are praying for Chelsea to win midweek is so that they won't get into the weekend game angry against Arsenal.
No, not even about that. Whether they come angry, whether they come happy.
I'm not just saying they don't get choice. They go top one. They don't get choice. They just no get choice against Arsenal.
But when I look at it from a footballing angle, I don't really see Barca running right out on just because
Might not be right.
just because I have seen Barcelona played in the Champions League and I see how they play, and it's not something that would freak any team. If they were, it's not something that would freak any team. Chelsea will stand toe to them. Barcelona,
I hate
Barca will edge Chelsea are very, very careful.
I believe they'll edge
They
Chelsea.
need to be very careful.
So next game on our radar, ATM versus Inter Milan. How do you see that game?
Let me use the word around football. My God, two defensive-minded team.
ATM Inter. Opak was tired.
I would give Inter Milan. I would give Inter Milan a win over ATM.
PSG Tottenham.
PSG Tottenham. Another L for Tottenham Hotspur. Another L. I'm so sorry. Another
I
L.
mean, fair enough.
You say fair enough. But you want to touch up faster?
I don't really see Brazil that want to against PSG on a good day, but fair enough. PSG Liverpool.
PSV Liverpool. I think I'll give it to Liverpool. They'll try as much as possible to edge. You know why I said it? Because when they played against Real Madrid, nobody saw it coming. And that's why I said, when you look at teams like Real Madrid, when you look like teams like Barcelona, they've not really been spectacular in the UEFA Champions League. If we are to be very honest ourselves,
Oh, you say they've not been spectacular. What do you mean?
in terms of how they play, how results.
These guys have been winning. Madrid, for example, in the last 10 years has won at least 4 Champions League, if I'm not
I agree with you, but that same Madrid, when Arsenal caught them last season, what happened?
but they see they win them. No. Fair.
So, when it comes to Champions League, a lot of things has to be perfect. Trust me. The luck has to be there. You have to have a good play, utilize your chances. And that's what I've noticed in teams like Barcelona.
Their strength is also a key factor.
Experience is also a key factor. Barcelona has troubled in most of their games when they play in Champions League. And same with Real Madrid. Look at what Liverpool that a lot of people were saying, Vinicius will do this, they'll do this, they'll do that.
Do you think Mbappe's presence at Madrid has affected Vini's form?
Nah.
I mean, Vini before Mbappe, to the extent he was being nominated for the Ballon d'Or and, making all that noise about how he was supposed to get that instead of Rodri. But to be very fair, from the time last season, Vini wasn't as outstanding as he was the season for all the seasons before.
And having to see that he, lost the Ballon d'Or and all of those things could also be part of the play for him. But when you look at this closely, I just really feel like it's one of those things for Vinicius. But for me, he still has.
Do you see him getting back to that top form? That's that Vini, Ballon d'Or Vini, top form. You see him getting back to that.
Yes.
Anyway,
Good player.
of course, no disrespecting. He's an amazing player. Marcel Newcastle.
I'll give it to Newcastle. Because they'll still go with that run form of we defeated Manchester City. Let's still go on with that high ride and see if we can secure the 3 points.
So I'm going to say Olympiacos versus Real Madrid is a no-brainer. Do you agree? On which way it's going to go? Do you agree that it's a no-brainer, or do you think it's something that's a tough game?
I think I agree with you.
I mean, if Madrid flop against Olympiacos, maybe then just they go.
But we say in football, anything can happen. Plus, I think Marseille would have overanalyzed that game, and it's up for grab for anyone. But at the end of the day, you really have to just be very careful.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot like I did with Premier League. 3 teams you think can win the UCL this season?
Arsenal.
I said 3 teams.
3 teams.
I said 3 teams. You can't ask that 3 times.
Okay, let's do this again. I'll give it to Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and PSG again. So Arsenal, Bayern, PSG.
I'll call Arsenal, PSG, and Madrid. So the thing about Madrid is this, right? Madrid has, I don't know how to explain what their relationship to the UEFA Champions League is like. Madrid can struggle. And they just off and on, and let they get into the knockout phases, and they will become very terrible, like very tough to beat on Champions League night. So I would say Arsenal, PSG, and Madrid if I'm to go.
But also, Madrid fans watching this, see, let me tell you, pray you don't meet Arsenal. Anything we make una meet Arsenal for quarter final
now
or semi final.
For now, if your seat is it is done, you was Madrid.
Anything we make Arsenal catch Madrid again.
Now you don't just have your age of guys at Madrid. It's no longer.
They change anybody. No, they change name of stadium. No, they change anything. No, they open stadium close.
They said they lost me.
Arsenal to get there.
Arsenal is. So for you, do you think Arsenal can win the double or a treble this season?
I'm actually tipping Arsenal to win. I'm tipping Arsenal to win 3 trophies this season: FA Cup, Premier League, and also Champions League. And if they don't win the Champions League, I tip them to win 3 of the domestic cups. I tip them. They have the squad, and they're in a good form of run. They have the squad. The only thing that would make Arsenal not win anything this season is injury or bad officiating in the league.
Well, if anything is to go by, I think the game against Newcastle, where the officiating was sort of not fair to Arsenal, they have been able to master, because before you would see Arsenal crack and break under bad officiating. So if Arsenal is playing, they concede a particular foul that they felt was not justified, or they are denied a penalty, or they had a goal disqualified, they start sulking and they just mess up the game entirely. But this season, what I saw against that Newcastle team at St. James's Park, boy, it showed that massive champion mentality that every champion needed to have. So I'll give it to I'll give it to them this season, but I don't know if they can create the treble. I hope they do, because I mean, rival fan. Imagine being an Arsenal fan in secondary school. You get flex. You don't know what team, but don't worry. Those of you who are still in secondary school, why in university?
You know why they might see all these new jerseys, match time at them, and they go to cry.
Then they go 3 years. They are going through what we went through in our own days as Arsenal fans in secondary school. So basically, you're tipping Arsenal to win both the Champions League and the Premier League.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the Premier League, we've talked about the Champions League, and let us know what you think in the comment section. Give us your prediction.
That's all right.
Tell us who you think is going to win this run of games within the midweek for the UEFA Champions League. And of course, the big ones coming in next weekend, the Premier League. Arsenal, Chelsea. We're going to get to that. Let's
fans.
Calm down. Do like this. Don't panic. Calm down. We'll get to you, people. Don't worry. What champions are we? No one. Somebody say Chelsea second position. I am inclined to agree, because
I saw the 2 Man U want to against Nottingham.
Oh my God, the way Man U been there second. No matter where Man U been there second, because see, for me, football is like one sport where
If you do stuff for your side, no, they're happy. The next seconds,
Bro, it's like it's the only religion where every weekend the belief is different. Like this weekend now. You see this weekend. Chelsea they feel say they be title contenders. Next weekend, you believe the church. Won't go believe, no worry. They'll go believe. They'll go believe. Chelsea, no worry. Next weekend. I'm actually very confident of the fact that Arsenal will overrun Chelsea. But what I don't know,
that many goals.
yeah.
Chelsea, Ronaldo, we see Ronaldo. Beware.
We'll see how that goes. Now, there are unconfirmed reports, and that's what I'm going to call it. Unconfirmed reports. Very funny unconfirmed report. I was seeing it on some pages on the internet over the weekend, but there's no credence to that story that the Federation of International Football, FIFA, is looking into sanctioning Collidier Congo for failing Aaron Bissaka, whose previous allegiance was to the English national team, for fielding him in that game against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If that happens, it automatically means that the sanction automatically means that the Super Eagles will be awarded the way, similar to what happened to South Africa during the coach takes of the World Cup qualifiers. It has not been confirmed yet. It's still unconfirmed rumors. But if it happened, automatically means that the Super Eagles will have to go through to the qualifying, to global qualifying.
We shall want this backyard end now. Squeeze. Let me this one don't go. Let me forget time. We're not going to the World Cup. Let's focus on.
I don't see that happening. If by any stroke of luck or miracle that happens, it would be one story for the Bulls because of a miracle.
When it comes to Nigeria qualifying World Cup, now we go carry calculator. We go do 2 plus minus.
After pressing calculator, we'll cut out to the crane. The fan wouldn't go to qualify for us.
Go.
Cynthia Fore. Una no qualify. Una no good. Anyway, so that's our wrap for this week. Remember to drop your predictions. Tell us what you think about the weekend games. Also, let us know your team of the week, your flop of the week, and your goal of the week, actually, or your A of the week for this particular week. Give us your Champions League predictions. Arsenal Bayern, the biggest game of Champions League week. First versus second. Who do you think is going to come out? Do you think it's going to be revenge mission for Arsenal, or do you think Bayern will continue cruising against Arsenal? Because Bayern Munich they really had a very good record against Arsenal. But before I continue, I'm going to say this. You see Barcelona, and this one no be Chelsea give us back at all. You see Barcelona, may they give us back at this. May they give Arsenal back at this. But make it before posting, but not cast the stories.
And also for those people watching us, don't forget you can also follow us. Just click follow.
Follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Football Tempo. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Football Tempo. Let us know what you think. Indeed, follow, comment, like, share. And also do not forget that this is Football Tempo, where football is our religion and every fan is a worshiper. My name is Daniamite Space. I've enjoyed doing this with Jamie. Thank you. See you on the next show.